this Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and
Yeah,
the person at a low frequency could only hear it moving around.
yeah.
Very interesting because they
They're
did it.
picking up the infrasound. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
mean to butt in.
so it's very interesting. But they had, I think it was, they had one person who was medium and one person who was very kind of skeptical, but also he was very scared. And when I did my Reiki, being in fear, it lowers your vibration very
Yeah,
quickly. And obviously, when you're and also your frequency as well. So when you're in fear, your frequency just drops,
yeah.
and then that can actually affect you not seeing things. So whereas when else's frequency can be really high and they can see it, whereas you're
But
in that
yeah,
kind of scared thing and it goes vroom, and then that's why you kind of don't see it.
yeah, because just with you saying that then, so if your frequency drops, that might be your natural instincts way of, because you're scared of blocking out what it is you would normally see at the higher frequency.
Yeah,
So then these people that have had abductions and all that kind of stuff, because I know people that have claimed, I'm not saying they haven't, but I'm going to use the word claimed, so I'm not like agreeing with every single person that I've ever spoke to. When they've claimed that they've had some sort of abduction, some have said it's not been good, some have said it's negative, some have said it's positive. So I'm thinking if all the ones that are saying it's positive, maybe they're resonating at a higher frequency, and all the ones that are saying that it's a negative encounter, could that be they're resonating at a low frequency? And that's why they're getting a different taste of what it would be at a normal frequency.
light does attract light. So if you're at a low frequency, you attract something lower. If you're at a higher frequency, you
Yeah,
attract something higher. But also with like going into like the ETs kind of things, that things what we might, there's some ETs who have emotion but not emotion what we have. So they might not understand what you're going through or that lack
yeah,
of understanding. So when someone's like going through this, they might not have that understanding because that was when I started doing my thing, like looking at the sato reticuli, they don't have that lack of understanding what that person's going through. And then
yeah,
when they don't get it, it's like, oh, and they very quickly kind of interact.
yeah. I suppose if they're doing what they do on a regular or a daily basis, that's normal to them, to the ETs, and
Yeah,
it's not normal to us. But then it's like if you go, I'm gonna go like surgeons that do all these different organ transplants and body modification and all this kind of stuff. They do that on a daily basis. So to them, it's just normal, everyday, like watching TV, listening to the radio, making something to eat. Because they're doing it so often, it just becomes second nature to them. Whereas if me or you was to start doing it, or anyone else, it kind of like freak you out a little bit at first, and it just like, I suppose, mess you up a bit. But then you become hardened to it.
yeah. I mean, obviously, when I did my attunement for Reiki,
Yeah,
this was last year, in the winter time. I had a very interesting experience because obviously I've heard people who've seen craft and seen people who've been, abducted and had how horrific it has been for them, or
yeah,
some people have very good positives. So when I did my attunement, that experience what I had, that kind of changed me because I was at that point like really into like investigating ghosts, but now I've kind of gone from investigating ghosts into investigating ETs and now actually having direct messages coming from them,
yeah,
which I never think I'd go down that route, but it's almost like I've just gone that way.
yeah. So So when you receive these messages, when it first started,
Really blue orb energy, and it very quickly raised my vibration really highly. And apparently, one of the other ET species was very curious what this Pleiadian was doing. Now, this wasn't physical. This was like something they call it not physically there, but I could see it in my face. So I had that experience. And then gradually, as I started to kind of, people then asked me to kind of look in, and I kind of like, oh, let's see what happens if I look into things. Then that's when I started having interactions. From probably one I had, which was profound for me, was when I went, because obviously Arizona is known for its UFO phenomena. And I was like, oh, let's see what's really going on, because people say it's like energy and all of this. So I was like, let's have a look. Interesting thing, when I virtually went in to look at it, immediately was brought underground, and I saw this massive, I mean, not joking, this city. And this is when I then met the Garthans, who basically lived on the servers, what they were telling me, and the feeling I got is they weren't on this planet, they came from another planet, lived on this surface. Some sort of war happened, which basically made them go underground.
yeah,
And there's also, and they kind of, took technology with them. So they are there, and then you've got the other species, you've got the, I call them raptors, they're not called the raptors. So they evolved from dinosaurs, and they came underground before the meteorite wiped out the dinosaurs.
yeah.
So they, very interesting, they live in their own little group, kind of away from this city, which is quite as massive if you ever see it. It's what I kind of got from them. What's the word? It's advisable to go down there without being exported down there, because you can be considered as food.
Yeah.
Like lovely, really thing. I mean, when I first saw it, I wasn't really kind of scared. I was like, oh wow. But they all kind of agree what should really happen down there. They all kind of agree. There's always like their sun. It's not really a sun. It's felt like the sun was like it was made. It kind of reduces its own energy and recycles the energy. So it's like basically not coal. It just keeps recycling its own energy.
Yeah.
So the Garthans said like this city. I didn't see all of it. I just saw how you couldn't see the rooms. It's massive. They there's tunnels what goes to like they were talking about Egyptian, like there's tunnel what connects to these, which they said is a spaceport where trade goes on, and that's why you see craft coming in and out at Arizona. Is that they're
Yeah.
going these where I could just go? They're coming from the spaceport, outside the spaceport, but there's like a hologram, which I found very interesting, where it's like it looks like a normal rock, and it's not a rock. And they were telling me is that craft get directions to kind of go in this direction, and they go through a hologram, and they're in the city, but the city is in what they call the Hollow Earth, like really deep, not near the core, but like it's
Oh,
deep.
yeah.
And they're saying is that when people see these craft, it's actually because it's a very active spaceport. So our government has people down there. They were saying who work down there. There's a positive relationship with the governments down there, with our not government, but it felt like American government.
Yeah.
Who basically there's been a standard deal between them that the Garthans look after the Garthan network, which it's called the Garthan network, concerns about. And they do raise it, but there's always been agreement that, you deal with that and we look after what goes on here. So
Yeah.
it's always been that's always been agreement. They're quite high vibration, very tall when you see them. I kind of got the impression from one of them is that they don't want to come up and start, not leading but kind of helping us, because it's like, well, they don't. The impression I got was they generally don't. They look at us as like, why do you want to come up and deal with screaming children who don't really know what they're doing? That kind of impression. It felt
Yeah.
from one of them, and that's when that's when they said, yeah, we don't deal with that. We tell your governments that, you need to kind of start clearing stuff up, but the agreement's always been actually surface dwellers look after the planet and we look after the underground. And that's always been the standard agreement. They have a police force, which, there's human beings there, and there's also different refugee species there. There's multiple species that are coming in and out of the city. So they don't really kind of like human beings down there. The feeling was that they generally, when we get through this, what they call this disclosure event, is it be a little bit open, but they generally don't want screaming kids running around. They call us Terrans. They want screaming Terrans running around the spaceport. So they limit they limit how many humans they can what are down there. So they're different to a player agent. When I stopped looking into them, when I came out, I was back here. One of them actually followed me back home. I was in the couch, and all of a sudden, this tall white Nautic was standing right in front of me, and that really did, really in my face, and that really did scare me. Later, then found out was that it was very curious as why I was looking into their home, their spaceport. It was very. I was told it's very curious why it was looking in. What was I doing there? That's why it followed me back.
Yeah.
When you kind of come out, it's like, oh my god. It did go. But there was no communications it's only when I went back in to moat through it again, that's when they said, it just came to kind of, why are you checking in and what are you. Yeah, it was
seeing what you was up to.
Yeah, and really. I was thinking what they were doing, and he was thinking what I was doing. So it was very, very. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
No.
Oh wow, hello. But their city is amazing. I want to go down there, but I can't go down there. But it's really cool.
Yeah. No, that's fascinating. We have got some questions for you.
Yeah.
So, this one's from Elaine, Simon's wife, Elaine Bright.
Yeah.
So she said when we walked over, so she's going back to Rendlesham now.
Right. Yeah.
When we walked over the other side a few months back, we smelt what smelt like wet dog. It's quite strange. It wasn't the pigs over the other way either, as it was getting dark. Does Miles remember that?
Yeah, I do remember. I remember that conversation. Smell like a wet dog. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
So I think Simon said, "Oh, it could be gas," and we went, "Well, why would it be gas in the forest?"
There's no pipes there, is there? There's nothing.
Pipes.
There's no electric. There's no water. There's no.
No. What was very interesting, as quickly the smell came, it very quickly went.
Right.
So I was like, we smelt it and stopped, and I went, "Did you smell that?" And then Elaine went, "Yeah, I smelt that." And then Renee's partner went, "Could be gas." And I went, "No, that can't be gas. Because obviously you can smell if it's gas." And I was like, "Why would there be gas in the other forest?"
I suppose though he was trying to think of a logical explanation for it,
Yeah,
because that's the first thing that you do is like think of what it could be